welcome to Unfiltered. So another week has gone by, and this is a very busy week for me because I'm getting ready to take a trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the Wings Over Myrtle Beach Air Show, featuring the United States Navy Blue Angels. That's right, I leave Thursday, so short week means I've got to catch up and get ahead on all my work, because I don't like to pass my work on to other people. What else is going on? Some quick news about Cheshire TV and one of our members of Cheshire TV. I'm talking about none other than Zach Benton, the producer of the Omelodious Show. Now this kid, well, not so much a kid, he works at one of the elementary schools here in Keene, produces the Omelodious Show. Now let me tell you how this all started. He came in, became a member, and he used to come into the studio, and he'd bring other musicians with him. Sometimes it was just him. Cheshire TV employees would sit here in the control room. You know, we'd help him set up his studio, switch all the shots for him, record his show for him. It was going fantastic. A little while in, he decided that wasn't enough. He decided that wasn't enough. So he learned how to use a camera, one of our cameras. He learned how to use our editing system. And he started producing the Omelodious that you see on the air these days, which is, it's a little music, it's a little sketch comedy. He has a really fun time of making a TV show. On top of making the TV show, he takes a file every week, and he has been marketing himself to other public access stations around the country. That's right. Last I knew, I think he was up to 20 or 23 stations in the country. And if that's not big enough for you, he announced this week that he has been in contact and has made an arrangement for the Omelodious Show to air, get this, on a public access station in Melbourne, Australia. That's right. One of the shows made right here at Cheshire TV by one of our members is going to be international. That's right. So cool. Congratulations, Zach, on your international fame. And I hope that if you need a camera guy to go on tour with you, I'll be the guy. Let's go over here because we'll get into some good stuff over here. Yes. Another week. Last week I had talked about choice and beliefs, and I want to continue with that a little bit because there was some stuff that I had forgotten to talk about, and you know, which is understandable. Last week was 420, and you know, I was a little celebratory, let us say. So when it comes down to choice, let's talk about choice, because our choices make us who we are. And if you ask a lot of people if you could go back and make different choices in your life, would you? A lot of people will say no. Because, again, our choices make us who we are today. Granted, if I had a chance, I might go back and change a couple things. But then that doesn't mean that I would be any better off than what I am now. You never know. Here's what I don't get. Choice, a lot of people discriminate due to people's choices. For instance, I get discriminated against because I'm a smoker. Yes, you can discriminate against somebody who smokes. It's no different than discrimination for any other reason. It's still discrimination because of a choice that I made. While people don't like my choices for smoking, see, I'm trying to think of how to put this so that I don't sound crazy, because I don't think it is crazy. Cosmetic surgery. That's a choice people make and nobody bats an eye. Number one, it's a tax on the medical industry. That's right. People that go to the doctor that are healthy are taxing the medical system. Yeah. And I love this because I'm gonna trash on women for a minute because, you know, I don't know a lot of guys that do this, but you know, one of the procedures is women get the fat sucked out of their ass and shot into their lips so they can have big, puffy, full lips. Really? Is that at all necessary? Breast implants is another thing that kills me. You know? Why? I mean, I can understand in certain cases. Maybe not so much medically, but certain cosmetic times, for instance, breast cancer. You know, if a woman has breast cancer, she gets a mastectomy. Yes, it might be nice. You know, some women may be vain enough to go, yeah, well, you know, I don't want to go around being flat-chested. But other than something like that, I mean, there is no reason why a woman should get a breast implant. Matter of fact, there are lots and lots of cases that show that women probably shouldn't get breast implants. You know, I know a lot of you guys out there saying, Rick, what are you talking about? I love big boobs. Yeah, but it's, again, it's a waste of medical efforts. And it's a huge financial thing for the doctors. You know, a doctor says, geez, why should I save somebody's life when I can, you know, when I can make, you know, $10,000 putting boobs in a chick? You know? No! You're a doctor. You're supposed to be saving lives. You're not supposed to be making boobs bigger. Plain and simple. A doctor's job is to save people's lives. Yeah. Healthcare reform was not so much healthcare reform. Obama's Affordable Care Act, that didn't make care affordable. That was just an insurance money-making thing. And let's talk for a minute. I mean, we get the whole insurance company involved in our medical system. And guess what? HIPAA laws go right out the damn window. Because your treatment is not between you and your doctor anymore. It's between you and your doctor and the 50 friggin' lowlifes, idiots that work in an insurance company. I don't need some guy pushing paper in some insurance company to know my medical history and my medical problems. And I damn sure don't need an insurance company choosing which procedure they'll pay for and which they won't. Because that takes your health choices away from you and puts it on them. They choose whether you're healthy or not. And if you go out and you ride your motorcycle and you break your leg riding your motorcycle and you go to the doctors and you get your leg all set and casted up and all those doctor stuff and physical therapy and all that, and then the insurance company goes, oh no, we're not going to pay that because you were riding a motorcycle. And you know that's pretty dangerous. So look, you can't wrap yourselves in plastic, in like bubble wrap for your whole life to be safe. But you've got to stop unnecessary visits to the doctors. And the doctors have to do something. Because here's a problem. Let me run down a typical office visit for your doctor's office. You go into the doctor's office, you sit down in the waiting room, you wait who knows how long in the waiting room, which cuts into your bottom line. Because you can't be at work working and earning money. You have to be sitting in the doctor's office waiting. Your appointment was at 10 o'clock. You get there at 10:15. You're waiting 10:15, 10:30 rolls around, 11:15 rolls around. Maybe by 11 o'clock you get in to see the doctor. And the nurse takes you back and she puts you on the scale to see how fat you are, and she puts a little boop, boop, boop thing on the top of your head to see how tall you are, and takes you into the room, takes your blood pressure, your pulse, that kind of stuff. Says, okay, the doctor will be with you in a little while. So you sit and you wait some more. Again, cutting into your bottom line. Cutting into your financials. Sitting there waiting. Do. Maybe another 15, 20 minutes goes by. Doctor saunters in, smelling of coffee, and looks at you, talks with you for 5, 10 minutes. Boop, 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 figures out what's wrong with you. You're not in the room with the doctor more than 10 minutes. Doctor's out of there, you get a bill for $300. For what? $300, I could hire half a dozen strippers. Well, maybe not half a dozen, if I want good ones. Well, I get strippers for that money. Or hookers, better yet. I don't get it. That's what needs to be fixed, is the actual cost of healthcare. Yeah, and I think a lot of it could be fixed with, less healthy people going to the doctors. I feel great. Why do I need to go and spend, 2.5 hours in a damn doctor's office waiting for a doctor to tell me, well, you're fine? I don't need that. When I feel bad, I go to the doctors. If I don't feel bad, there's no need to go to the doctors because it just takes that doctor's time away from somebody else that could use it. And the same with all the cosmetic doctors, shooting poison into your face, Botox, to get rid of wrinkles because you're too vain. And you worry too much about looks. But at the same time, you tell people, don't judge people by looks. Man, that's the biggest hypocrisy around. Is that you tell people not to judge people by what they look like, not to judge people by how they dress, but then everything comes back to that. If you want to be successful, you have to look successful. Shave and a haircut, nice tie. People will look at you different. Yes, and they do. And I hate to say it, I hate to be the bearer of the truth, but women are sexualized. Yeah. You put two women standing next to each other, put one in this skimpy little bikini, one in this frumpy, oversized sweatsuit, and you ask 100 guys which one they prefer, and guess what? The pretty one in the hot, sexy swimsuit with the big fake boobs is going to get most of the votes. I didn't make that rule up. That's just the way it is. It's the laws of sexual attraction. You know. And again, because it's a law, people exploit it. Yes. They exploit it. And you know, if you want to be strictly equal, you know, you want equal rights for all people, then yes, women should be able to go without shirts, just like guys can go without shirts. And there should be no difference. But we all know there's a difference. Yeah. And if somebody stares at a guy's chest, it's a lot different than if somebody stares at a girl's chest. Again, it's hypocrisy. It's saying one thing, acting differently. You want to get rid of the sexualization of kids? Get rid of beauty pageants. Get rid of Barbie dolls with you know, sexy clothes. Get rid of those painful, big-ass high heels you girls wear. You know? But oh no. Woman can't be seen outside without her makeup on. Somebody might not think she's pretty. Why does it matter? You're telling people not to judge people by their looks, but then you're worried about if you're pretty or not. Makes sense, people. That's all I ask is make sense. I don't know, I think I went off on a tangent there. I'm not, you know, it upsets me. The whole, yes. I feel that because I'm a smoker, and there are no places to smoke anymore, that I'm discriminated against. Just as much as if I was in a wheelchair and there wasn't a ramp. You know? Let me get to some good news in Keene. Because after all, that's where I tape this show, is in Keene, New Hampshire. And hey, we're getting a Burger King back, I think. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It's going to go down on West Street. I watched the planning board meeting last night, and they talked about it. It's going to go, when they first mentioned it, I figured it would go in front of basically directly in front of Kohl's, up in that front corner of the parking lot facing West Street. But it's not going to. It's going to go more on the eastern side of that lot, right where the lot meets the intersection right there. So as you come in, it's going to be right there on the corner of West Street and the intersection with the plaza entrance. Some of the planning board members are a little worried about foot traffic, and a lot of foot traffic and people coming from like the Walmart, the Walgreens, and walking over to the Burger King from like the Walgreens side. And the truth is, pedestrians should be walking up to West Street and then cutting and then using the crosswalk there and cutting across at the light and then entering into the Burger King. If you're coming from like Kohl's, I mean, one of the board members made a great point. They said, you know, we don't have a lot of problem with foot traffic in parking lots. And we've got some big parking lots in Keene. People park their cars and they walk through the parking lot to whatever store they're going to. And we don't have a lot of problems there. So a lot of the members were hoping they're looking for some sort of an answer for this. But then a lot of people don't think that, you know, it's going to be as big of an impact with foot traffic as what some of the planning board members are thinking. I think it's great. I'll probably be there every single day for lunch. I love Burger King. I've actually made special trips just to go to a Burger King. So the same way with Arby's. When I'm on the road, I eat at places that we don't have in Keene. You know, when I'm out on the road at an air show or something, you won't see me at a Longhorn or a Chili's or, you know, a McDonald's or a Wendy's or anything that we've got in Keene. I'll go to places like Red Lobster or Cracker Barrel, you know, Ponderosa Steakhouse, you know, places like that we don't have around here. And that's the beauty of traveling for me, is I get to eat a little bit different, a little bit. And I'm thinking about trying Sonic, and I might actually, if I run across a Sonic, I might actually pop into a Sonic, because we get TV commercials in Keene for Sonic. So, I don't know. I'm just checking my audio. Anyway, what else has been going on? I did see that at the end of last week, the Thunderbirds have started practicing again after their crash 3 weeks ago or a month ago. They have not yet announced when their first actual show will be, when they get back into the air show circuit. But I'm glad they're flying again. I also heard that last week, during, I believe, the Tuscaloosa air show, one of the Blue Angels jets was damaged by a bird strike, which happens. And they can be fatal, those bird strikes. You figure you hit, you know, anything when you're going 600 miles an hour, and it's going to do a little bit of damage. You know, I didn't really read the story. I just saw the headline, and I was kind of in a hurry, so I didn't get to that. Oh, what else is going on? Nothing else is really going on. I should have been more wound up for this show, but, you know, sometimes I don't pay attention to the news because it makes me angry and it makes me sleepy. So, you know, I live in my own, you know, my own space. And that's where everybody should live, in our own space, dealing with the people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And again, you know, being nice. We had a big standoff in Keene yesterday. I don't know what caused it. I don't know, you know, all the facts behind it. And really, you know, it's none of my business. So it happened. The Keene Police, kudos to the Keene Police and the New Hampshire State Police for handling that in, I guess, a very professional manner, because nobody was hurt. And, you know, it happens. It's this, I don't want to say the new norm, because that's a term that gets bandied around enough. But it is what our society is coming to. And it's a sad thing, again, because there's so much division and anger. I don't know. People just looking to be what they want to be, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Starbucks is still bad because they're a little on the racist side. I never liked Starbucks anyway, because I always thought they were, I mean, pretentious, uppity coffee douches, you know? And we don't need that. Coffee's coffee. I was in the Navy, and, you know, once you've drank Navy coffee, You can drink anything. It doesn't really matter. So they're still bad. North Korea is still bad, but maybe there's a very good possibility that the North Korea and South Korea are finally gonna end their civil war, which would be nice. Whether Trump actually has anything to do with it or not, I don't know. It would be nice to think that maybe he pulled it off. I know. Sorry. Just the way I feel. Give this guy some credit. He is doing he's working. He's working a lot harder than the people in the Congress and the House of Representatives are. He's working. He's making deals. He's thinning out the herd of all them career politicians who are doing nothing but getting rich and waiting so that the day that they get ready to get out of there, they can write their tell-all book and make another $1 billion or whatever. So anyway, let's go back over here. Oh, hit the wrong button and fade it in. Sometimes I do that. Anyway, I guess that's it for this week. Next week, I'll probably end up taping the show immediately when I get back into town from my trip. So I'll spend this Sunday all day at the air show, drive back here Sunday night, and tape this show as soon as I get back into Keene after that drive. So next week's show, I may be just a little bit loopy. So tune in for that one. Till then, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.